Jeff Mizanskey and Charles Manson have something in common. They're both serving life sentences in maximum security prison. Only Charles Manson, the notorious cult leader who's responsible for the deaths of more than a half dozen people, has had at least a dozen parole hearings. But Jeff Mizanskey has had no parole hearings and will get none for his nonviolent marijuana offenses. If you're not familiar with Jeff Mizanskey, he's the Sedalia man with arrest and convictions on possession and sale of marijuana in the 1980s and early 90s. But in late 1993, Mizanskey was arrested in Pettis County. This time, it was his third strike, allowing the state to prosecute him under Missouri's prior and persistent offender status. He was convicted and is the only person in the state serving life in prison without parole for nonviolent offenses. Despite his plea for clemency to Governor Nixon, a change.org petition with nearly 400,000 signatures, and many other efforts to free Mizanskey, tonight he is in his cell at Jefferson City Correctional Center. But recently, inside the prison, Jeff Mizanskey agreed to talk about his unique sentence.
Jeff, are you angry?
You know, I was for a long time, but the anger's kind of gone. Disappointed. I love this country, and ain't right. You know, for them to do what they do, ain't right.
You said cruel and unusual punishment. Did you ever think that this could happen?
Never. I didn't even know you could even get locked up with a life sentence, let alone life without. I mean, for something that's not hurting anybody, for something that's doing good, they're gonna lock somebody up forever. It don't make sense. It's costing the taxpayer $57 a day just to keep me in here, a little over $57 a day. If there's 1,000 of us in here, and I'm sure there is throughout the system, that's $57,000 a day. Boy, that money sure could be used for schools or our roads.
And you've seen some pretty hardcore people come and go.
Oh, yeah. I've seen them come in here with murder, rapes, child molestation, burglaries, you name it, all the way up and down the gamut. And I've seen a lot of them leave on parole. I've seen a lot of them come back. Same ones that left, and get out again.
You're in your 21st year here?
Yes.
What has it been like here, inside?
At times, it's been pure agony, to be right honest with you. I mean, families growing up, parents passed away, my brothers and sisters are getting older. Heck, I've spent a third of my life here in prison now. I'm 61 years old. I've been in 21 years. So,
after all this, do you still have hope?
I have some hope for myself, but, you know, I don't have that many years left if you think about it. Might be 5 years, might be 10 years, whatever the Lord blesses me with. But what I'm hoping for is nobody else has to go through what I go through, or what I went through, because nobody deserves to be locked up for marijuana. I mean, or cannabis, however you want to say it.
Over the last 2+ decades, you have missed a lot. You've missed births, celebrations, deaths. I saw an interview where you said you, since you've been in here, saw your mom one time.
Right.
What was that like?
It was rough, because she put in for visits when she found out she had cancer, and it took almost 4 months to get her on her visiting form, even though the woman's never been arrested for anything.
And did you have a good conversation?
Yeah.
What did you tell her?
I missed her. And I made her promise that I'd do everything I could to get out of here.
So it's not only something that you want, it's also a pledge that you've made to your family.
Yes. I made a promise to her that I wouldn't break any law that I was conscious of ever again. And unfortunately, smoking marijuana is one of them laws.
In some states.
All right, but for me, even if I got out, I couldn't go, say, to Colorado and smoke a joint, as much as I would like to, because it's still illegally federal. So You know, I went through a program here called ITC, and I've learned one thing is I don't have no gray areas. I don't have no, you know, second chances, you're saying, gray area or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
So it's
What is ITC?
It's an intensive therapeutic community. You work on any kind of drug problems or really works on your mind, your body, and your spirit. And drugs are also brought in. You do your NA and AA programs. You go through a lot of other classes. It's a year-long intensive therapeutic community. And then you got another year after that that's where you're an elder and you kind of help all the other guys coming through. And I still practice it today. I try to help the guys out in the yard. I try to teach them something at work so they got some kind of skill when they get out. I try to talk to them and use myself as an example. You know, you don't want this. You want to be out there with your family. And it's worked. I mean, I've got some of them out there that's not come back. I've heard from them. My son's heard from a few of them. And I don't see them, so it's evidently I'm getting through to some of them anyhow.
I contacted the governor's office to ask why a man with nonviolent marijuana offenses should die in prison. I received a one-sentence reply. Mazansky's application for clemency is under review by this office. Now, I've also been told there will be a rally at the Capitol tomorrow with people pushing for clemency for Mazansky.